focused, globally connected. Find us online at Coleman Global. WDON is proud to present our latest podcast, The Colors of Sound. Our mission is to create a safe space for community members from around the world to share their personal stories. Listen on all streaming platforms or on our podcast station, WDON1204.com. The Colors of Sound podcast. Discover how much we have in common. I'm so grateful that you guys came back and joined us for yet another exciting episode. You know how much I love doing this podcast because our mission is to give community members from around the world an opportunity to share their unique stories. So today, on the other end of the line, my sister, Robin Sue Coleman. She is a published author. She is a mom. She has worked in the education system. Her belief in artistry is that it all has to be organic. So I'm so proud to have my sister with us. Please give a warm welcome to Miss Robin Sue Coleman. Hey, sis, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. You know, I appreciate that.
So today, I really want to just take a minute and highlight the amazing things that you are offering out into the world and give you a minute to talk about it from your own perspective, because there are, so many artists, and you were actually my inspiration for going back and reading biographies and autobiographies more specifically, and watching black and white film and kind of understanding what was going on for the artist at a point in time when we experienced their work but didn't know the backstory. And, I think people will have a better opportunity to connect with you and your work if they understand more of who you are. So in what was the past, our core beginnings, where we grew up, talk to me a little bit about where you were born and like how the environment kind of shaped you in your childhood.
Well, as you know, born in Ohio, Dayton, Ohio. I don't know. I know that's kind of like a semi-city life, low key. When you compare it to a country life, which is what Dad had, and he lived about an hour away, Greenfield, Ohio. So there was always that source of relief that you didn't have in the city. Even when you wake in your mornings, it was a difference because the mist, the dew, you could literally see it on the window pane. And when you raise the window, you could smell the difference. And so I like the contrast between not necessarily mom and dad, but just the difference between them allowing us to explore. Because whenever I would go there, if you remember, Grandpa had so much yard and so much backyard, and so you could just run. And it kind of used to freak me out though, because that swing set was all the way back there, and we were so little, and I'm like, oh dear God, I might not get back, but I'd go anyway. But it was like just a freedom, a freedom to just run and be, and I would love that. But then it was more constricted in Ohio. It's kind of like bring you back to the reality of your situation. I couldn't just run free. I had to watch at all times where I was going. My brothers had to be with me when I was trying to do this and that. And I can't say they always enjoyed that, but they just knew they better. So, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you better see to me. Harsh things have happened in my life, but my life itself is good. And so, I may have gone without eating something that I really, really wanted, but I've never gone without eating. And so that takes us into the spiritual realm of my world where, mom and dad, you just know to always be on the forefront of the prayer line, and God will, and you relax into that if that's what you're taught, and the Lord always takes care of you and he always meets your needs. And so And it's funny when you're in the midst of a problem or a struggle, the average the average attitude is to just kind of like go in and delve into that because there's nothing else. Like what the heck? But
Hmm. Hmm.
when you reverse that, you are, it's like blind faith. You're in it, but you just can flow. The more you trust, the more you trust that the Lord is like, well, right there, and what I've been taught is real and good and true and just. And so that's that. I don't know. That's pretty much, man, how I view things, live my life. You cannot go through life always trying to advise someone or redirect someone if you cannot be brutally honest with yourself. Because I'm the first person
Mm.
that I see every morning. So, have I done a good job at work? Did I really give my absolute best, or did I hide behind the door today in the office when I really could have been outside the office, proactive, doing certain things? What was my choice? What did I choose to do today? And so I'm always choosing to be real with me, and that way I can be real with you, and I can keep it
Hmm.
going. And there's no attitude in that. There's just a straightforwardness and no time for debate or chit chat. This pretty much is it. And I got to keep it going. And especially when you're trying to survive for yourself, you got to have tunnel vision sometime. And you can always get back to the people that didn't get it while you were going through it. But hey, look, this is
Amen.
a personal journey. This is a personal journey. You don't got to understand why I wear black all the time. I look good. Don't worry about it. I like it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to dress it up and down. Don't worry about it. You know, thanks for noticing. Thanks for noticing. But I don't have a bucket for you. Don't worry about it. So I'm good. But you got, mom taught us long ago, be comfortable in your own skin. So there's no pretentiousness. I've never desired to be anybody else, or I love the me that I am. And just like anything else, self-reliance is taught. And sometimes you don't know what you can do and how much of what you can do until you go through certain things. And
So that's really powerful. So hold on a second, because I have a letter still that I put in like the little plastic binder protector thing that you sent me when I first came to school in New York. And your statement said, Tim, I'm so proud of you. Just remember that fear is man made and there's never a reason to fear any man. And it got me through so many auditions because, you're walking into a space and it doesn't matter if it's one person or the entire
no,
planet.
no,
When
exactly.
you're sharing your art and you're sharing the love for what you want to put out into the world, it's nerve wracking.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But it's like somebody going on what's that show, Star Search or American Idol or something like
Hmm.
that. Okay, now did you let somebody talk you into doing this?
Right.
Or is this really something that you're, and even at that, it doesn't mean that you're qualified to that level. But if you're serious enough to get to that level, you got to handle that rejection. You got to know that it may come, and you got to be
That's
able
right.
to handle that. I mean, people, hey, look, I went through that. They don't have time. You in a line, you walking through a line, they're looking at your picture for half of a second. And either they say yes or no. And if they say no, you better just keep on going. Don't get back in the line. You keep on going.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. I mean, I remember coming as the quote unquote photographer when you were modeling. And one of the things I remember about your spirit, I remember one show, we were on a bus and we went from Lincoln to Omaha.
Oh, yes, I'll
And I
never forget
remember
that.
Yes, and I remember we were on the bus and you were listening to your headphones and you were in the zone, right? Like everybody else was like full of fear and panic, and Robin was sitting here like, oh, and you were in your own zone, man. And so we got there and just it showed because the spirit that you arrived with was the same exact spirit that you walked the runway with. And you were so carefree to the world, like eat it. You know what I'm saying? You was just looking at him like,
Exactly.
eat
Exactly.
it.
Those are those Tina Marie moments where, she's like, ooh la la la. And like, you know what I'm saying? You keep it going.
Is the way that we rock when we doing our thing.
I
That's
know
right.
that's
That's
right.
right.
That's
Oh my
absolutely
God.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. So now, how did you split your energy between modeling and artistic creation, or is there a split, or was it just another aspect of who you are? Like, how do you look at your ability to move through these different mediums?
In all honesty, at that time that you're speaking of, oh my God, my spirit was so untamed. I was so I was so horrible, delightfully so. Right. It was very difficult for me at that time to like just pick one thing because I felt that I was gifted in so many things. And it's really a matter of organizing your time. And at the moments that hit me with that, with the modeling time, that was like so much fun. I mean, I absolutely enjoyed that. But like, it was a season. It was just a season
Mhm.
for me. And so and yet I feel like every day is a runway day if I choose for it to.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Every 14th of every freaking month is the Valentine's Day for me if I choose. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
I choose my happy. I send me thank you cards. I send me love notes. Why? Because I know me and I know what I like.
Hmm.
And I sent a ticket to myself from the theater a couple of months ago, and my girlfriend said, "I ain't never heard of that." I know, because you ain't me. I do that. You got to be kind to yourself. If you work a lot and your mind is constantly moving, but it's mostly motivating other people off of your motivation. So you're the battery,
Mm. Yes.
you're their charge. And so, who is there for you to recharge you? Only you. So, you got to pay attention to your emotional health, to your spirit
Yes.
health, to your monetary health. Because, look, there are some people that only want money from you. Like, that's the only thing they can accept, that's the only thing they can understand. But they will use your services for free, having the money to pay you and making a choice.
Hmm.
And a lot of times that's because of jealousy. And that's a whole nother
No,
situation.
but you're right. And I think we watched Dad go through that a
Oh,
lot
yes.
with the nonprofit that he ran, and people
Uh,
wanted him to show up at all different times and do all these
mhm.
different things.
Oh, my.
And they never wanted to pay him, or,
No,
they only wanted to give like small little crackers of change to him.
don't work nowhere.
Say it again.
I said keys to the city that don't work nowhere.
Yes. And he had multiple keys to the city, right? And when in actuality,
Accolade, he earned that accolade, okay? He earned that. But at the same time, the person giving him that had an outstanding responsibility per what he had done, knowing handing him this is equal to what?
hmm
Y'all taking a picture
hmm
together that he couldn't even sell for $35. Like, look, you know what I'm saying? Do the right thing first time.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And so, we watched Mom and Dad. Both of them have great vision,
Yes.
and both of them implemented amazing things in their specific industries,
Yes, totally agree.
and were change makers, in those industries. And so we inherited that same spirit.
Yes, totally.
And so when we come back from break, I want to talk to folks about your book, Black Girl Live Brave, and how it came about that you developed such a powerful voice, but such an accessible way for the audience to kind of receive your experience.
Okay.
All right.
Share your story on the Colors of Sound podcast. Our mission is to create a safe space for community members from around the world to share their unique stories. Do you have an interesting story to share? Or perhaps a journey of triumph from a challenge that you faced? Do you want the world to know about your talent? Visit our website and complete our guest intake form at WDON1204.com. The Colors of Sound podcast. Discover how much we have in common.
Thanks so much for coming back for our interview with the amazing Miss Robin Sue Coleman. So, Robin, before break, we were going to chat about, your voice that is captured inside of your book, Black Girl Live Brave, which is available on Amazon. Talk to me a little bit about how did the poetry part of this book, because it is part poetry, part artistic, like graphic design and part design. How did the poetry side of this come about? Are these pieces from multiple different time periods? Did you sit down to just write this all at once? Talk to me a little bit about your voice in this book.
In all honesty, yes, it was in different moments of time, yet at the same time. I was especially the one piece that stands out to me is the titled piece, Black Girl. And I was going through so much at that time. And you get like it was a silent voice, but it was still a voice.
Mm-hmm.
And so it doesn't matter. You need an outlet. If you're going through something extremely traumatic, like abuse, whether it's verbal, physical, emotional, the levels of that may be different, but the process is the same. Your thoughts, your total being, and redirect you and readdress you into what they perceive you to be for them in their mind, to become more of nothing really, but in their mind, even more powerful because they in their mind have completed the stupid task
Mm-hmm.
that they're on. And so
Right.
I survived that, in all honesty, just because of our upbringing. I survived that. And so was always the main source and resource. It's like you start there. But that my writing had been like early on, but it became more intense during that period of time. And I remember having left at one time, and I was on the bus, and there was a lady that was on the bus, and I remember writing, and I know that this piece is in. I know this piece is in the book, and it's titled "The Woman," and it reads, "I saw a woman getting on the bus, so unlike myself. In that I mean, she was undone, but she was a woman just the same." This was such a struggle, and they had stopped, the bus had stopped so you could get something to eat, and she didn't get off the bus, but the drive was long, the ride was long, and so I took my daughter and we got off. And there's some situations where you don't need to say to someone, "Hey, look, are you hungry? Hey, look, are you thirsty?"
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I was hungry. And she got on when I did, so I know she was probably hungry too. So there's some things, love is love, and you don't question it, and sometimes you just do. You just
That's
do.
right.
Be in that moment and do. And so we went in, I got her what I had. We came back out. I handed her the burger and the drink, and she said thank you. And I didn't expect no conversation from her. Do you understand? My job at that time was to show her a kindness, because I don't know if she was going through what I was going through, but I was going through a heck of a hard time right then. but still
Yeah.
you got to keep one hand open and one hand closed, and it's necessary for that hand to be closed, because if you give everything, you're always starting over from scratch. You get exhausted.
And I think people, what I like about what you're saying is not only the compassion of giving and moving when the spirit hits you to do such a thing, but
Absolutely.
also the ability to know that you cannot allow yourself to be so drained or depleted that you actually aren't in a position to help somebody else,
Exactly.
right? And that you
Exactly.
have to give yourself permission to to know where you are in any one point in time and be okay with not doing something that you can't do, even if it's in your heart to do it. The
Agreed.
balance of that, right? The balance of, like you said before, you are someone else's charge. How can you allow, it also brought this image to me where like if I'm a light socket, right, and I got all these little jacks in the side and everybody's plugging into me to like drink my juice, where else am I getting it from? Right? We can't help
Exactly.
others if we are not in a position to help ourselves. So it's powerful that you took that position that you were in and what you did for someone, but you were able to capture it as a comparison of your two situations without
Mm-hmm.
judgment.
Yes.
There's no judgment in it. That's really powerful. So tell us about some of the other poetry that is in your book. What's another piece that really moved you, or when you go back and you read it? I know artists never want to say, "Oh, this is my favorite," because you want everybody to like everything. But like, what is something else in that book that kind of stood out to you as you looked back at the finished product and you were like,
To say the title, Black Girl, that really speak volumes if you, because I'm a word girl, and so if you really follow it, Black Girl, why are you so black? Black Girl, why you wear your hair like that? Black Black Girl, you still in school? Black Girl, why he always sweating you? Black Black Girl, that's your baby? Black Girl, how old you be? Black Girl, what you mean? Your mama's free. He caught her. She was still in school, but he caught her. He caught her attention, and he was able to whisper in her ear. You understand? He caught her, and she was still in school, and she had a baby, and she had to become responsible in another whole way, because her mom, she there to help her, but she already had her kids. But had her mom not already had her children and been through what she went through, she wouldn't have been able to help. She was a solid. So, and look, in all of this, in any of my pieces, that girl is me. And so the beauty of anything that you do, if you got through it and you still talking about it, like you lived through it, what part are you missing?
Mhm.
It doesn't always have to be negative every time you tell the story. You talking to somebody, people need hope. They need to know, oh wait, I can associate this with what I'm going through. It ain't that bad. Life itself is good. Like I'm saying, bad things may happen, but you gotta be responsible for the part you played. You gotta take responsibility, because
Mhm.
that's when your cycle becomes vicious, when you don't. And then you keep saying, I don't know why this keeps happening. Hello, hold on.
Right. Red flag. Yeah, that's powerful. That's powerful. So then, you know, we've got such a rich story and all of the life, the pain, the struggle, the joy, the renewal that comes out of a piece like Black Girl. And then you have art attached to it, which it tells the same, but a whole new story. And it makes the whole picture like now you got to look at it from 10,000 feet instead of being down at 1 foot. just you
Mm-hmm.
and the paper. Now you got to lift up a little bit, because now you've got an artist who has captured the soul of what she was going through in a moment in words, and then the soul of what she was going through in an artistic expression.
Mm-hmm.
So are you does that happen frequently? Like, is there a duality? Like, if you're working on your art, are you also in your mind thinking of a poetry or an experience? Like, how does the art side come about?
Listen, dude, like it's the brain is nonstop. It's kind of, yeah, simultaneous. I can be doing something, putting the art piece together, and as I'm looking at it, and then the words come, and then I just, because I have to keep a tablet like wherever I'm at, so I don't have to go and run and get it. And then I'll
Hmm.
just write if I'm thinking something, that I feel is like really kind of profound that fits, and I'll go ahead and I'll jot it down. Um,
Hmm.
and I may or may not elaborate on it, but if I just get the basic of what I'm feeling down there, then I can come back and add the soundtrack, so to speak. Yeah, but my art in that in this book, I have to credit you because you selected the art pieces to go with the wordage. But when I read it, and then looked at the picture, it was like point on. I would have made the same absolute choices, which is why I know that's why you chose those pieces, because you knew that I would. And so, that was so cool. None of this truly would be happening if you, because you know how I am, and if you, like didn't push me or the way you do, none of this would be happening. So, I appreciate that.
I feel like the pieces spoke the same language as the poetry.
Agreed.
They speak the same language, and they are the same girl, and they are the same soul. And so, I put it out to anybody who's out there who buys your book, you know, take a stab at it. Maybe you separate the pictures from the pictures are on a separate page than the actual words.
Yes.
Let's you like hit us up on Instagram, and let's hear, like, what pictures would you put with the words? Like, how would you reformat Black Girl Live Brave, from your own perspective and your own experience on the world?
Yes.
Because I think that would be powerful for both Robin and I to both see how you might experience things differently,
Totally agree.
right?
Yes.
How they might experience things differently. So, one last thing I want to chat about in this particular segment. So, I want to touch on education a little bit, right? Because this is a big part of something you and I have spoken about and you even mentioned here in terms of like how much energy you give out to other people
Mm-hmm.
and what's kind of like on reserve for yourself. So I want folks to know, in a lot of what was going on for you while the book Black Girl Live Brave came together, um, you were spending a lot of time working for the Department of Education there in Nebraska. How did you get into the education side of things, and what did that opportunity mean to you?
Well, dude, there's no way we couldn't be in some form of education with mom and dad being who they are and who they've always been, no matter where we've ever lived. You know what I mean? And so
Right.
I think that's just like, that's a good apple falling. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I don't think that there's anything in our future that we could do that wouldn't have us in some way, shape, or form dealing with whether it be children or trying to help men, women, whether they're older or younger. We're in our family, I feel, is we're caregivers, so to speak. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? And
Hmm.
yeah. So when we moved here, that's when the school part of things came about. And so I applied there, and then I started. that portion of my journey.
Hmm.
And then the longer, the longer with any job, you're there, you advance into certain other things, needs become more prominent, and this kind of thing. And so I was placed in a situation, to gladly so, to work with kids that had autism. And man, it was very rewarding for me personally, because I truly acquired a personal relationship with this kid and his family. And it was just a beautiful thing. It was a beautiful thing. I mean, like, anybody can learn. If you're willing to take the time to teach them. If you are, you
Hmm.
have to be consistent, and that's where you may fall short. You get tired,
Hmm.
and then all that pre-energy has been wasted. So I was
Hmm.
consistent, and it was a beautiful, exhausting sometimes, but beautiful experience.
WDON1204.com presents our new book, The Colors of Sound Podcast Planner and Journal. In order for a podcast to bring about transformational change, the content must be engaging, memorable, and have a level of quality that sets it apart from the crowd. We focus on the art of storytelling and the development of your point of view as a host. The Colors of Sound Podcast Planner and Journal. Visit Amazon.com and get your copy today.
So, sis, tell me a little bit about how did you get involved with the art gallery, and how long is your stuff going to be up for display?
The pieces are up there, I believe. Like, we pay for the year, and she has different programs in there, and I'm not really sure. You change your art out every so often. You pay for your space. You change your art out every so often, and the first and third Fridays of every month, from, I believe, 6 to 9, we meet down there, and then a lot of the artists of the art projects are there, and you can meet them personally, and it's pretty cool. You can meet them personally and speak with them. There's an upstairs also, with phenomenal pieces up there. But yes, I was literally, actually had spoken with a friend of mine who had somebody that knew about this gallery, and we were just having a girls' moment, sitting there eating some cake and ice cream, and came about, and she said, "Listen, let's make a phone call." They asked me to bring some of my work down. I did, and from there, hung the pieces, and there I am. Very excited about that. And I love the energy in that gallery. The people are beautiful. There is some wonderful art aside from my own pieces. There's some wonderful art in there. And so I would encourage anyone to, if you have any kind of thread of Third Fridays, beneficial.
So, talk to me about your first piece of artwork that you sold from this current exhibition. What was the title of it, and how did that make you feel?
I was pretty excited. And it was a piece I had done. I think I had done about 6 pieces, and they were called Black Lives Matter. And this piece that this lady had selected, and they're all in different colors. And this
Mhm.
one piece that this lady had selected, it was all in white. And the textures that I like to double texture and use and cut out and whatnot, it doesn't really matter what it is. If I think I can enhance my canvas, is going on there. So when she selected this piece, and I took it down so she could actually see it closely, and the more you look at it, the longer you look at it, the more you see the details that are in it. And I was ecstatic, to say the least. I was very pleased, and I think she's a new a new junkie for me. So I'm good with that.
I love that. That's powerful. So, what's to come? Like, what are you working on, right? Because I know personally you've been sending me, little snapshots of some things going on. So, what are you cooking up in Robin Sue Coleman's world?
Well, I am really, if you, and I know you noticed this in the pictures that I've sent you, I'm kind of like, you know how you get to that detour and it's like, it ain't that the left looks bad or anything, but you're just familiar with the right, so you always go that way. And so I've been
Hmm.
like challenging myself to go to the left just a little bit. And
Mm,
in my opinion, as far as I'm do my work, just kind of like stepping out the lines a little bit. Like, the circular ones that I did. Yeah, that's like outside of
yes.
the lines of what I normally do. But I saw that I don't even know what that thing is, but it has like five circles on it. And I was
Hmm.
just laying there with amongst my art pieces. And so I was like, oh, wait a minute, let me see what I can do with that. And then that's how that picture came. Oh, yeah, yeah.
I
So,
love it.
yeah, I will use pieces until like I know I need to go ahead and discard this. But because and especially if you enjoy creating and maybe you don't have the money to run out even to go to the Dollar Tree, if you really take a second and you look around, you have all the crafts you need. Somebody has markers, somebody has crayons, somebody has, whether it's a canvas, even the garbage bags, the brown paper garbage bags, you could cut that, and then the back of the bag, where there's no writing or anything, there you go. You can do a picture right there, just to have something to do. You can use the other portion of it maybe to cut out certain pieces and then add that onto that and really make it more creative and then put a little frame on it. And then there you go. And that's what you did today. So did you waste your time today? No. Knowledge is power. And then when you
That's
start to
right.
look at that and walk through the house, man, I did that and it was just a brown paper sack. But then when you look at the history of the brown paper sack, yeah, look that up. Look the history up
Yeah.
of that. Uh-huh. Yeah.
That's powerful. That's powerful because, one of the things I think people will always be shocked about is where the individual items came from that equate to this fully realized canvas, this fully realized
Mm-hmm.
expression.
Mm-hmm.
You spoke even just a second about the Dollar Tree. I know that you have taken wrapping paper. I know that you've taken napkins, you've taken beads. Like what is it about the material? Like, is the material kind of speaking to you? Are you touching it
Oh,
and it triggers
yes.
something? Like what?
Absolutely. Like a new pair of red shoes for real, for real.
That's awesome.
I'm so serious. Dude, that's why I love going to the Dollar Tree with mom because she be, her whatever, she knows what I like, but also she has a likeness to what she kind of has in her mind. If you use these, you could do blah, blah, blah. And so, yeah, that party of one with the orange, that's where those beads came
Favorite.
from. Yeah, those pearls, that's where those came from because I was in the Dollar Tree with mom. She was like, have you used these yet? And I was like, no, but she said, well, let's get some of these. And so, and it's challenging you in a sense to step outside that box. And that's what art is all about, the power of the mind, the extension of it. There are no boundaries. Like there are, yes,
That's right.
your cloud can be yellow, green, and purple if you want it to. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yes, it can. And it can be equally beautiful as just a blue cloud,
Mm,
because
yes.
that's how you see it. And that's what makes you feel good. So I don't see anything wrong with that. You don't tell somebody how to feel when it comes to art. You don't tell somebody, you open up the area and you say, hey, I need you guys to draw a picture of the car in the house that's across the street here. Just by the seat, draw a picture of the house. But you don't say Now, don't make the car purple or don't make the car too little. It needs to be exactly as you see it. Do you understand? I will interrupt you.
Mm-hmm.
So no, because you're stifling someone's growth. And then they only look to you for that guidance to make sure that what they're thinking is okay. No, it's okay to think that if you see that car as being like tiny, like a shoestring, then that's how you draw it. And that's what makes us unique to one another. But sometimes people put the wrong labels, use the wrong word each, and then that's what begins to give someone a complex. And so, what is your
Mm-hmm.
purpose? What are you here for? Because if
That's
you're not the
powerful. Yes,
solution, then you're the problem. Be the
that's
solution.
right.
Yeah.
So, what would Robin today say to Robin, the middle schooler or the high schooler? Like, what advice would you give to your younger self?
Oh, my Lord. Oh, gosh. Okay. Wow. I have never been posed that question to my elementary self. I would remind myself that I am a good person. I would remember the only choice voice that I utterly love to hear is the voice of mom and dad encouraging me to get through the day. But I would definitely remind myself that I am a good person. You
Mhm.
are a good person, and I would probably even the high school person was a good person, but I always stay to myself because I don't that trust factor that goes into others, and I wasn't there with that. Crowds of people. I enjoyed just being around maybe one or two people, and I was fine. And even if I was just by
Mhm.
myself, I was fine because you have to be comfortable in your own skin in order to venture out into other avenues. But when you sit back and you really pay attention to what's going on, then you recognize, maybe I don't really need to be involved in that. You know what I mean? I'm good. I'm good.
Mhm.
So it's necessary to follow your instincts, to sit back and just pay attention. What's really going on? I mean, the truth of it, not what you envision. There are people that have gotten married because they like the ideal of being married, but not being
Mhm.
married. So you've
That's
wasted
so
time
true.
and money.
So true. That's powerful. Well, sis, is there anything else you want to share with our audience before we wrap up?
No, I just, I appreciate everyone's time and because you could be doing something else. And so I'm glad you tuned in to me. I to ask, but God is great. God is good. And I so appreciate you, baby. I really do. And we
I
getting
love you so
there.
much.
We getting there. I know you do.
We
So
are getting there.
we
We
getting
are
there.
getting there.
I'm
We have
excited.
ideated about that other life, that other story, that other reality, right? By faith. We've spoken about that so much along the way.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I am so happy to have a medium now where we can share ourselves. To what extent is up to the Lord, right? But share
Yeah.
ourselves with the world and our vision of life with the world, and just say, hey, we are positive people. We are coming from a good place, and hopefully you can receive it. But if not, we're not judging you, and we're saying, we still want everybody to have all the best that was meant for them.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Share your story on the Colors of Sound podcast. Our mission is to create a safe space for community members from around the world to share their unique stories. Do you have an interesting story to share? Or perhaps a journey of triumph from a challenge that you faced? Do you want the world to know about your talent? Visit our website and complete our guest intake form at WDON1204.com. The Colors of Sound podcast. Discover how much we have in common.
Check out the latest episode of the Colours of Sound podcast on your favourite platform.